Friendships are super temporary, and depending on what stage you are in life, the friends that you have now aren't actually going to be there until the end. Or maybe, if not all of them, one of them is might stick around. And I think that's one thing that if you learn sooner, the better. And the one thing that you don't want is a friend that you have that ends up backstabbing you in any sort of way. And it's not realistically, it doesn't always have to go down that way. It doesn't always have to end in a betrayal. Sometimes, your paths just divert, different everyone takes different approaches in life, and sometimes you can't always bring your friends with you. And, I think that's a very reality shocking thing for a lot of people, especially right after high school, like, right after you graduate. Because, I mean, you literally lived, like, let's say 10, 10, 12, 13 or so years of your life, always with, with your same friends, or with the idea of friends, that the group that you always hung around with every day, and then you're just thrown out into the world with no group, and you're almost just like a lone wanderer in a world of just a walking dead almost. It's just realistically what it is now at this point. Everybody's out there chasing something, and they don't even know what it is that they're chasing. So we realistically are just kind of going about, wandering about. Sometimes you might bump into an ally here and there, maybe a coworker at the place, the gig that you're at, or sometimes you might, have a cool conversation with a cat, but most of the times you don't really ever get a chance to have new friends. Those are it's a very tough thing to come across. When we're kids, we're more eager to throw that word friend around. But the older we get, it's almost kind of like, if you weren't my friend before high school, it's almost like I don't even really want to entertain the idea of a new friendship. Almost. We can be acquaintances in a way that I can text you, or maybe we might talk at work, or occasionally hang out. But a friend, someone that knows your problems, I don't know. I just don't really got them anymore. They're kind of, we've all separated. There's no big ordeal or split out between us, which is good. I'm certain we all hold that same amount of respect and love for each other that we once did when we were still all, grouped up together, waiting in the hallways for one another, and, playing basketball and stuff. But I think that, you know, it's just don't get comfortable with the idea of always surrounding yourself around friends. It's, eventually there's gonna come a point in time in your life where you're gonna kind of have to outgrow your friends and start doing things by yourself. And if you aren't ready to face that yet, you're gonna be in poor rude awakening. Because it's even worse for people that kind of try to get a job with their friends at the same place, or roommate with their friends right after school, because that all sounds like a good idea until maybe it's seeing those same people every day, and learning their living habits, or eventually that buddy leaves and quits that job and finds a new place to work at, and now you're kind of just stuck there, and you don't really want to be there anymore, because you kind of just only work there because your buddy worked there, and now your buddy doesn't work there, so now you don't want to work there. So, like, and that's a horrible way to live and make your decisions, because it's what your friends are doing. So that's why it's also good to not always have friends, but you have to be very careful, be very wary of who you give that title of friend to, because you just don't want to throw that about anymore. It's almost like you don't really want to have friends when you're an adult. You just want to have people that you associate with, because having friends is very dangerous. It really is, and it's a very temporary thing. It's a very transactional thing. Friendship is once you're older. When you're younger, you might be friends because you like the same things, you have the same interests. But when you're older, those interests go from colors and TV shows and superheroes to goals and ambitions. So I don't know. It's a very interesting take on friendships, but I think everybody gets the idea. Just enjoy it while you got it, but don't live your life centered around the idea of this friendship.